Hey guys, it's Joy Yuki, CEO and founder of Hella Good Marketing, and I wanted to talk about call to action buttons on your website, why they're important, and where to put them, what they should say, and what they look like. I'm talking about call to action buttons because they're super important to every single website design. Call to action buttons should be included in every section of your website. Not on every page, they should be on every page, but on every section of every page. And what I mean by that is every time somebody scrolls on their mobile device to a new section on your web page, there needs to be a CTA button for that specific section. The reason for that is because you are telling a story on every page of your website. You can use the story brand framework to figure out what that story is for that page, and across your website you're telling a story too. And by telling this story, you are going to resonate with your target audience. Now, if somebody is reading your story and different parts of your story, and they're getting really excited, inspired, compelled to take action, but you don't tell them how they can take action, what's going to happen is they're going to be really disappointed, they're going to be frustrated, and they're going to be confused. Now, those are all bad reactions that you don't want visitors to have on your website. You want them to be excited. You want them to take action on their inspiration, on the things that you're teaching them, on the story that you're telling them, the solution that you're offering them. But if you don't tell them exactly what they can do to act on that part of the story, they're not going to do it. People today online have about an 8-second attention span, and they instantly decide whether they're going to stay on your website in those 8 seconds. And you can look up these stats online. They're pretty common. I'm not making them up. And so you need to capture their attention first with your content, and that's that storytelling piece. But then you need to get them to take action, and you need to show them where to take action, is essentially sending them to a form on your website. And so that's why every section of your website should have a CTA button linking to a form on your website, whether it's to get involved by subscribing to your email newsletter, whether it's to sign up for an event that you're hosting that can help them take action on that part of the story that they've connected with, download an ebook, take a quiz, purchase a product. All of the CTAs can differ based on what part of the story that you're telling, but you just need to remember to include a CTA. Now, as far as copy for CTAs, I think you want to kind of mix it up and test. And so you can use short CTA, short and direct, like sign up, register, tell me more, learn more, very simple ones. And those are what we call in the UI, the user experience world, don't make me think. People are used to seeing that call to action language. They know what happens after they click the CTA button, a read more CTA button. So those are great. They're short and they're sweet and they work. Depending on your brand tone and your brand voice, you can also experiment with more creative, longer phrases for CTAs. And a good example of this is reallygoodemails.com. And they're a more conversational, kind of friend-to-friend tone of voice and brand. So on their website and in their emails, they use long, kind of funny and crazy call to action buttons that are different. You won't see them anywhere else, and it really works for their brand. What I would say is experiment with both and make sure it matches your brand, just as far as copy. That also goes for the color of your CTA buttons. Do not make your CTA buttons a neutral color. What you want them to do is stand out on your web page. And so whatever color that is the brightest, that is a part of your website design, that's the color that you want to make your CTA buttons. And you can experiment with different ways to incorporate that color into your CTA buttons. A lot of themes will have different options that you can play around with. You just want to make sure it's a bright color, not a gray or a black or, a muted tone. You want to make sure it catches the website visitor's eye. I'll finally say the best thing that you can do to figure out how to write CTAs and what colors work best is to use a tool like Crazy Egg or one of its similar competitors. And what that does is just lays a pixel on the back end of your website, and it will deliver a heat map to you. And it will show you by heat map what areas of your website, including your CTAs, get the most engagement, where people stop the most when they're scrolling, where they click the most. And so if you have a more traditional CTA and it's getting a lot more clicks and a lot more engagement and a lot more interest than a kind of experimental, more conversational CTA, then that's just what your audience likes better, and vice versa. So always trust the data. Always look at what your results say rather than taking as fact what industry experts say, because what works for my audience on my website may not work for your audience on your website, because we're trying to attract two different people. And those people may have and probably have different preferences. So you can definitely experiment and try different things, and then just look at the data and see what it tells you and change your CTA buttons based on that. If you have any questions about CTA buttons, if you've tried something that works really well, share it in the comments. I'd love to know about it.